we'll get started with this webinar. First, let me just give a huge shout out to everyone who's joined for our first ever webinar on Creator. So thank you so much to all 58 of you participants. Thank you so much for joining. And before we begin, maybe I'll just give a quick introduction on to what this session will be about, what it will cover, and sort of also introduce who the panelists are, and we'll get started with that. So, as I'm sure you're aware, we are here for Avataar's Creator 101 webinar. And for those who are new to Creator or who might not know or might not have been yet introduced to our platform, Creator is our Gen AI platform, which is elevating spatial storytelling, while also unfolding a lot of possibilities for people to step into the world of 3D storytelling or spatial storytelling. Creator will help you create web-based web scrolls, spatial web scrolls, spatial content, which you can sort of embed onto your web pages, spatial content for your portfolio, and a lot more. And also maybe talking about the industry right now, right? Like you're seeing a lot of these brands, a lot of the players or the main players in the industry are moving into the spatial content stage or the space of spatial content. And some of the brands that I would like to highlight would probably be Apple and Rolex. I'm sure that most of you all have seen Apple's website for their last couple of products. Most recently, the Vision Pro headset. That page is like completely spatially oriented. Like every time you scroll, there's a new animation. Even on Rolex, you're seeing a lot of their watch is showcased in the spatial format where you can see sort of every time you scroll, another feature of the watch or a story is unfolding around the object, right? The problem with this is that even though it has a large impact on the audience and it helps the brand connect with the audience a lot more easily, the problem with this is that there are hours or even days or months of design efforts being put into this. There is a lot of developmental hours put into this. There is a proper tech team in charge of building this experience and sort of embedding it onto the backend also. And that's where Creator comes in to solve that problem, because most of us or like a lot of the economy or the industry might not have access to those kind of design efforts, to those kind of development efforts. And that's where Creator as a platform will probably help you solve all these issues related to time, effort, learning curves, and even cost. And I think that's a good enough segue and a good enough introduction for Creator right now. Creator, again, once again, to just reiterate, takes care of your spatial storytelling or your spatial experience creation. And yeah, I think it's about time that we got through the agenda for the session. So ideally, there will be an introduction by our panelists, which I will probably segue into next. Post that, we'll have a quick panel Q&A where we have some questions prepared for the panelists. And we also have some pretty good questions that have come in through our registration form. We'll pick those up and we'll sort of present it to the panel. Ideally, one of them will take up, or maybe you get lucky with them. Both of them will take up those questions and answer. After that, we'll also show you a lot of or a couple of experiences that we've gotten from the first Creator Challenge. I'm sure that a lot of you guys have heard about the Creator Challenge 2 that is happening right now. The deadlines are on November 23rd. And a lot of you folks might be waiting for a couple of hints or tricks or techniques that you can use with Creator to create those experiences. Some of you folks might have already seen these videos, probably on our Discord server, but these videos are the experiences that our Creator Challenge 1 winners have made. And a couple of them are also our panelists. They are more creator experts than challenge winners, but they are also our panelists for the session. After this, we'll probably move into a quick Q&A around these vision experiences, around these experiences. We'll probably take in questions from the group. If you're free and if you're comfortable enough, please feel free to unmute yourself or even raise a hand and we'll let you unmute yourself and ask those questions out loud. And finally, after that, we'll move into, once we have sort of uncovered all the tricks and techniques, we'll sort of see how a creative or a creator expert uses these techniques and creates an experience. That's where we move on to the live demo that we have. It will be an interactive demo where Rashri will take you through a demo experience that we have built. It'll sort of cover content animation, text animation, model animations, and probably if Rashri feels up for it, he'll probably share a couple of his tricks up his sleeve. But yeah, that's, again, feel free to ask questions throughout the entire session. This is more for you than for us. We want you to learn how to, get into Creator, get those amazing outputs out of Creator. And I think, yeah, and finally we'll just have a quick closing about, Creator Challenge 2, Creator, and everything that follows. And yeah, I think this is a good enough segue for us to maybe move into our panelists for the day. Like I mentioned, they are creator experts. They are also the winners of Creator Challenge 1. We'll be showing their experiences a little later, but before I give them an introduction, I think it's much better and much easier if they introduce themselves. So maybe Rashri, it would be amazing if you can maybe quickly give us a short intro about who you are, where you're from, and what your experience with Creator has been like.
Hi everyone, can you see me?
Yeah.
Hi. Hi everyone, I'm Rajesh Avataar. I'm a motion graphics designer with over 5 years of work experience. A bit about me, I completed my master's in design from IIT Bombay in 2018 and have been working for chips to solve industry-related challenges and since. Uh, I have been working on Creator ever since its early days, and it has been an amazing journey so far. I've seen the app develop, and I've been using it for a lot of my projects. And it's pretty intuitive and pretty easy to use. Being mainly a motion graphics designer who works with 2D medium, this is a very good to start with to work on 3D assets and 3D animations. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to our sessions today. Uh, I hope I'll answer all your queries and hope you guys. I hope to inspire all of you.
Thank you so much for that sweet intro, Rashri. And I hope that we get to ask you a lot of questions and uncover a lot of those secret techniques, ninja techniques that you are using to create your amazing experiences. I think now we can sort of also move on to our next panelist for the call. She is also one of our creator experts. She has sort of built a really amazing experience with the Vision Pro headset. I think you will see it a little bit further into the session. Vidya, would you be kind enough to sort of unmute, and tell us a little bit about yourself before we get into the whole session?
Thank you, Mahi. And hello, everyone. I am very happy to be here today to inspire you to be part of Creator and create beautiful experiences. So I'm Vidya, and I have around 6 years of experience in the field of graphics and UI UX design. So actually, Creator was very interesting for me because I'm a UI UX designer, but I don't have any animation or 3D experience. So it was quite challenging in the beginning because without those experience, it took some time for me. But after that, once I got the hang, it was very interesting to see how I could use my graphic skills to and animation to add animations to it, basically. So yeah, that's all.
Okay. Thank you so much, Vidya, for that introduction. I think both Vidya and Rajshri are sort of, you wouldn't expect them to start working with spatial content, right? Because their field is a little bit more 2D oriented, graphics oriented, animation oriented. And that's where I want to sort of start the questions from. Rashri and Vidya, I think it would be amazing if you can. I'm trying to keep Rashri also on spotlight. Wait. Before we get into the panel Q&A, I'll maybe remove myself from spotlight and I have the stage shared by both, Rashri and Vidya. Yeah. All right. So before we begin, touching back on the background and your fields, right? What impact or value and this is for everyone who's listening. We have started on to the quick Q&A for the panel. We also have some of the questions that you've shared on the registration form, so do keep your ears open, be very attentive to this session because your question might come up and you probably would get the answer from these guys on the panel. So maybe to start off, both Vidya and Rashi, what impact do you think or value do you think Creator as a platform has provided to you as a person who's from a design or design or a not a 3D skill set, a person who does not have a 3D skill set? How does Creator add value to you as a platform?
Okay. So I think the UI is completely, it's very simple. So anyone who even doesn't have design or even animation background can easily create different kind of experience. It can be a very, very simple, like a rotation kind of thing for a 3D object to see. And they can even create complex, like very bespoke kind of experiences that they want to create. So like very wide variety of things can be done with the platform.
All right,
Yeah,
Rashri, anything else to add to that?
yeah, so the first thing is like one thing I personally feel like the UI of the platform is very welcoming to non-3D artists, people who are just getting started to it. So it's a very simple and welcoming environment. So people like most 3D software, the moment you open it, you'll feel it will feel very complex. Just by the look of it, feels very complex. So this is a very user-friendly software which helps you to create very variety of things and anyone can get started on it, right? Being a 2D artist, there's always a demand for 3D right now. Everyone wants some sort of 3D animations. So this comes really in handy for that. And it's on the web. So you can very quickly, and it's very fast, you can very quickly get started with animations and do almost everything you can do on it. Yeah. And you can export it and use it in your pipeline. Yeah.
And
And to add, yeah, like one of the very different things is that you can create your own content, like you can add prompts and you can create something which does not exist. So you can create your unique content and it doesn't take time. So you don't have to like wait a long time to see what you have created and you can experiment with it later. So it's fun.
yeah, I think we've covered a lot of things, right? You guys talked about how it's intuitive for a new person to come in. Rashi maybe touched upon the similarity that it has with other 2D software, right? And how a person who's not from the 3D space feels a little bit more welcome. And finally, the fun aspect, which I am guilty of, I love using the generative AI features to see what my prompts sort of build. All right, that's thank you for answering it really, really well. I'll move on to the next question, and this question is to Vidya because you've created the Vision Pro experience. So as you know, like as I sort of mentioned before, a lot of brands are have started stepping into that spatial content space where they have spatial web scrolls or they have even AR experiences embedded onto their web pages or probably just a 3D spatial object on their screen, including, for example, Apple and Rolex, right? Do you think it's a passing trend or is it something that's here to stay for a while? Do you think that it could be, a fad that happened right now or, something that stays with us for a while, like how video ads sort of revolutionized, ad marketing for a lot of people?
Yeah, I think it's not definitely not a fad, and it's something that is going to be there for a long, long time, and it's going to go like bigger and bigger as time goes. A lot, like you mentioned, a lot of big brands are already doing it, and a lot of people who have not done it yet are going to do it because people like whoever has used these kind of experiences and users now have been like introduced to those kind of experiences, they have seen results, so they have seen their ROI and the impact it has on users, so it creates a very memorable thing that stays in their mind, so it doesn't go away soon, so it's something that is going to be there for a long time and it's going to get only bigger and better from here.
And I think it's also a partly that wow factor, right? You see something that's
Exactly.
cool on your website and it's rotating and it's
Yes.
moving across. And for me, it was a lot to do with that wow factor when I first saw that content that came out of it, right? Amazing. Thank you so much. Again, maybe to Vidya, how do you see such spatial storytelling, experiences transforming what you're creating for your portfolio? So, as an artist, as a creative person, you probably have, you probably build your own portfolio over time, right? So, how do you think, or how do you see yourself sort of adapting to this, or how do you see this affecting you, the spatial trend that's happening right now?
Okay. So I think like there are a lot of ways it can create value. Specifically for me as a designer, I would say I create a lot of content for websites. So, as a website designer, right now, people don't want traditional looking website. So they want those kind of experiences where they can interact, like you were talking about the wow factor, right? So, so basically, even for e-commerce, right? So for e-commerce also, if you see a lot of players right now have 3D in AR in their platform because people today they don't want to simply buy things without experiencing it properly. So, like the platform helps me to even create 3D AR experiences. So whenever I integrate the product, so instantly I get the 3D AR links which I can incorporate into websites. And apart from that, so that is one part of it. So from that, in websites itself, like there's so much that you can explore with creator, like designing like simple websites to very complex interactive ones. And so website is definitely one part of it where I see a lot of potential for me as a designer. But apart from that, like so uh, there are a lot of clients actually. So if you, so as I mentioned, like I belong to a design background. So during during my college, so I was introduced to a lot of different domain in design. Like for example, jewelry design, apparel design. So for example, I'll give one example of jewelry design. For example, so there a lot of luxury brands are there. So if we like bigger players, luxury players, so they like design a lot of bespoke experiences for their clients. So, and when you talk about luxury, so you want to give them that kind of feeling everything that you are delivering to them and not just the final product. So it's like the journey you take them through. So for example, you show them 10 or 5 concepts, different concepts. So how you're presenting those concepts. So even that is when we try to tell a story to them. So how do you present that? So I find this is one way where I can like create very different kind of experiences, starting from my inspiration to the sketch to even the final 3D outcome of the product. So the entire story can be built in a scrollable manner where the user themselves they explore the experience, and I think it'll be a different joy for them as well. So yeah, so this is one definite other use case that I see for me as a designer. But apart from that, like around me, I can see a lot of things happening in the gaming and the VR industry as well. So yeah, so I think these are something which is like lot of I mean there are definitely other things also where it can be used, but these are the specific parts where I see use case for me.
I think you've touched on everything that I wanted to. I've even noticed some edtech companies, edtech websites where there is a
Yeah.
3D element where students or the children coming onto the website are interacting with those elements to learn.
Yeah.
And I used to think if that was there in my time, I would have probably learned a little bit better. If the teachers have
Yeah.
figured out to how to bring that wow factor into the final output. But yeah, I think you've probably touched upon everything that is there to touch on that. So now I think I can sort of move on to Rashri. I have one question for you that I've been, sort of wanting to ask for a while now. And it's basically how creator fits into your workflow. Like, I think knowing you as a person, as a creative expert, right? I've seen some instances where creators who I know find a new tool and they cannot really understand where it fits in your workflow. But I would like to understand how you've sort of fitted creator into your workflow, and probably if it would be very helpful if you could share an example for that as well.
Yeah, so initially when I was starting with Kira, I was just exploring the tool and I was trying to understand what the tool can do. So I just found out like easily like you can animate any 3D model in it. Yeah. And what I realized was like in my workflow, since I predominantly use After Effects and Premiere for my animation and video editing needs, one thing I always struggled with is creating real 3D animations within that with 3D models. A lot of time for our motion graphics work, we needed to use animations of mobiles and other appliances, 3D models, to make the animations look good for any sort of animation like that. So, and I struggle to do those because these softwares only allow you to do 2D animation. You can't actually add depth to those things unless like the software don't allow it. So when I first found out this creator ka, I realized I can easily create things in it and I can export it and implement it in my 3D pipeline, in my 2D pipeline over there. I can create it with a green screen background and I can take it to After Effects and I can remove the background and use it. So that was one of the use cases that I really like, that really helped me to use Creator. Other than that, while I started exploring it, I realized that I can actually do a lot more than that. I can create complete animations within it. So there are a lot of options which I think we can touch upon later also, which will help you to do complete animations from start to end and export it as like you want within your format, and you can just use it directly from here. So that's why it has been a really interesting thing for me, and it has helped me to adapt to my pipeline and even change my pipeline and modify it so that I can properly do 3D animations as well as 2D animations right now. So yeah, that's why it has been really helpful for me.
Amazing. I sort of understand and like the way how you've modeled it, where you've mentioned you used to have, you couldn't really add spatial value or
Mm.
depth to your 2D videos.
Mm.
And with Creator, you create that spatial content and then you export and, do the final last mile post-production stuff on Premiere Pro and get your final output. I have one more question. I think it's something that, again, I've been wanting to ask for a while, since you're like, again, I'm a huge fan of your Bumblebee experience, by the way, if I might say so myself. But what feature in Creator do you think is the most interesting to you? Like, I know there are a bunch of things. I think for the context of everyone, you can maybe even touch upon something, that bunch of things that are your favorites. But what is that one feature that you always keep going back to on Creator?
Uh, a couple of things actually, but okay, I'll try to keep it one. So for the Bumblebee experience, the way I realized is you can actually build complete animations for the product right from start to end within it. The timeline is pretty user friendly and you can do any sort of animations like in any professional 3D software, you can do it over here as well. So that really helps you. The timeline helps you to add any sort of animations in it. And apart from that, for the Bumblebee experience, personally, I had to use 2D images also. So you can add 2D images as well. And if you do it a little smartly, you can plan it accordingly and you can just create anything over there. So for that reason, it was really helpful. Yeah.
Amazing. I think we'll also try and get some more tricks up outside out of your mind in the coming sections of this call that we have scheduled. And I think right now we can sort of move into the next part of our agenda. I hope y'all are listening, everyone on the call. We have around 75, outside of me, 72 people on the call. So note down your questions, because your live Q&A session will happen. It will come a little bit later. We'll spend the next 3 to 5 minutes just looking at some of the videos and experiences that our panelists have created. And they've basically won our first creator challenge with those experiences. So I just maybe quickly flash them on our screen. Um, just give me 1 second. Yeah. Yeah. Is my screen visible to everyone? Just give me a thumbs up if possible. Yes. All right. Okay. No, wait. Stop share. I actually pulled up the wrong one. I'm so sorry. Yeah. Is my screen visible now? Amazing. So this is, I think, for everyone who's not seen this experience before, this is the Bumblebee experience that we keep mentioning in this call, that Rajshri himself has built. So as you can see, it's a proper web scroll experience where you scroll through the page, you see a lot of the bike sort of exploding out. You see all the different elements that compose it, the bike, and finally there is a the CTA at the end. This is the Vision Pro experience that Vidya created. To me, this feels almost exactly like how Apple has done it on their website. And we do have some questions that I would want to ask you guys, but before we get to that, we'll just completely finish this section off. All right. So now that we've looked at these experiences, one of the first questions that I want to ask, and I think I can ask this to both of y'all, quickly, is what, or not even what, how long did you guys take for these experiences? I maybe Vidya can answer first with the Vision Pro example, and then Rashi can sort of let us know how long it took for you guys to create. Like basically from start to end, not from when you started learning creator, but when you started this experience.
I think for me, it took around roughly 6 to 8 hours at max. But also, this experience was created when I was almost just starting out, so it was not very recently. So, yeah, it took me around 6 to 7 hours roughly.
Okay, 6 to 7 hours when you were starting out. So how long would it take now, though? Oh,
I
what's
think, yeah, I think it'll take me 3 to 4 hours.
3 to 4 hours? Amazing. Okay, and Rashri, how long did you take for your Bumblebee experience that you've created here?
I think at that time it took me around 4 to 5 hours
Hmm.
from ideation to the final output. Again, like it was also done a long time back. I was also just exploring it. I think if I had to do it right now, since I'm much more familiar with software, I think within 3 hours I can finish this.
Within 3 hours. Okay, our creator experts have spoken. They have said 3 hours is the time to create Apple Vision Pro and Bumblebee on Creator. We'll test drive that out a little bit. Maybe once we get into the live demo, we'll see how fast Rashri works. Actually, don't work too fast because we want people to follow. We want people to sort of look at the experience and learn also. So Rashri, maybe not. We are not going for the fastest time. We are looking for the most interactive way of sort of sharing this experience. Okay, I have some more questions before we get into the audience questions. But I know that like creating that Vision Pro experience or that Bumblebee experience might not have been easy because Rashi also mentioned ideation is a process, sort of creating that storyboard is a process. And what I basically want to know is what are some of the tricks that you used? What are some of the tips that you would have for anyone who wants to create that experience? Like if I wanted to create the Vision Pro experience, right? What are some of the tricks that you would, sort of take me through, or hints that you would give me for me to get to that outcome as fast as possible?
I think the first part is planning. Planning is extremely important because once you know the plan, it's very easy to execute it. So I think like the right planning and dedicating time to that is very important. And like after that, once you have your assets also, like if specifically if you're using images and things like that, so if you have those handy, then I think, yeah, it's easier. And like if you know what kind of images you're using, so what kind of background you want to use, if you're clear on those things, then it's super easy after that.
Okay, and Rashri, this I will count as a tip or good thing to do. I need ninja techniques also so that everyone on the calls also are aware of those small. I know you guys are might not be very keen on exposing those techniques, but just spare a couple of them for the audience. So Rashri, what are your quick tips for anyone who wants to create the Bumblebee experience?
Uh, Not for boundary experience, but in general, I'll just say like a couple of things. One thing, like Vita mentioned, images you can use really smartly. You can use transparent PNG images to hide or showcase parts of your product to highlight them. So that would be an interesting trick that you can use to frame your product in a certain way to show certain sections. The other trick I would say is to use products which has animations in them. GLB animations you can build from outside and you can integrate it within the platform, and that can add another depth to the your animations. Yeah. So
All
that would
right.
be another.
Okay. I heard a couple of them that maybe we can try explore in the live session. I don't know if you have planned to explore or expose some of them on that session, but I think that is a little bit of context on how we can sort of create those experiences that you guys have tried. But I still want some more. I still will keep on asking you guys for more techniques and tricks. But we do have some questions on the chat. So Gopal Krishna Panda had asked us, how do you source your 3D models? And Yash Mewada has also asked us another question, but we'll get to that after a little while. Maybe someone, Vidya or Rashri, if you want to, take up this question, how do you source your 3D models?
You can bring 3D models from, there are a lot of online platforms which has readily available 3D models like Sketchfab is there, TurboSquid is there. So you can take 3D models from there. Personally, I use Sketchfab because the website allows you to download animated models as well. So you can directly bring those animated models and use it. Since I'm not a 3D artist, I can easily have 3D animations downloaded from Sketchfab and use those along with the model.
Okay. And so on Sketchfab itself, I think I've seen sections on like Sketchfab where the assets are free and they're still
Yeah.
animated, right? I've seen some really cool animated assets on Sketchfab. So Gopal, if you're listening, you can source your 3D models from Sketchfab. Vidya, anything to add to that? Any other?
I think I think it's just one thing. Like there are a lot of models which looks really great when you see it in Sketchfab, but when you import, there might be some issues because of the way it's modeled. So in terms of quality of model, so those are things which obviously elevates your experience. So it's very important to take a very good looking 3D model for building out the experience.
All right. And just to highlight, we also have some, assets preset on the creator. So explore creator, you will find a lot of assets that are already on creator. Or you can also use our generative AI features if if you have the Incarnate app on your phone, scan your friend, scan your daily objects, you will probably be able to create a replica of them. And then you can even use our generative AI features, text to 3D, image to 3D, get those outputs, which you probably can use for your experiences as well. Just wanted to add that. I hope the panelists don't mind. We have another question. Can we import pre-rigged 3D models? So who wants to answer that? Maybe Vidya.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, yes, you can.
Yeah, I think we already touched upon it. The animations that are on the assets on the GLB, you can import, GLB models which already have animations or pre-rigged 3D models into it. We have a question from Aryan. Being a developer, I feel the feature of having a panel for custom code will really supercharge the platform. Would love to know your thoughts about that. So he's basically asking us about having a panel for customizing the code or the backend of this. Uh, I think maybe for the panelists this might be a little bit of technical know-how, but we do have someone from our team who can answer it. So Tosh, are you here on the call?
Yep, yep, Mike. I can. That's a great question, first of all, Aryan. So we do have an IDE in the pipeline. IDE is nothing but the integrated development environment, and which will be live very soon. What this will do is it will provide the code editing platform, and it will serve as a very comprehensive tool for the developers who are there out there, and not just the developers. Anyone who wants to get into the code would be able to do that on the creator. And the process is extremely simple. At any stage of the experience, the user would be allowed to switch to the IDE window and directly edit into the code. This will be for faster and efficient customizations, and you could, make sure that you keep improving your experiences and you have that flexibility that you need. So this is definitely there in the pipeline and will be out soon, Aryan. So stay tuned.
Thank you so much, Tosh, for answering. I think he's sort of covered that part really, really well. So, Aryan, if you're someone who's keen on having that custom code panel for you to sort of customize your web scroll experience, wait a bit longer. We have the IDE coming out for you very, very fast. We have another question from Devika that's come up. Did you create all the animations on the bike/Vision Pro headset by yourself? Do you have previous experience with 3D? I think for a graphic designer to make something this complex would not be that easy. I think it can be answered by either of you, so take it away.
Yeah, so since like I said, I'm not a 3D artist, So I could not make all those things. So I downloaded the model from SketchLab and it had all the animations to it. You can download lots of assets from the internet, free assets. And even like my mentioned, the Avataar platform actually has a huge library of assets, which some of them are actually animated assets. So you can use those as well for your projects.
Yeah, Vidya, anything to add here?
Yeah, I think my process was slightly different. So actually, I was definitely looking for a model with animations because obviously that would make the experience extremely smooth. But then I could not find basically a model where there were like animations done and it was free for downloads. So being a graphic designer, I tried using my strongest suit, which is graphics and images. So yeah, so this is a tip for you, tips and tricks. So you can, if the model does not have animations, you can leverage your graphic skills and use images to give it a sense like it's like there are different animations to it. So yeah, that is also possible.
All right. I think both of y'all answered the questions really well. We'll move on to the next one. What are the different ways in which we can use the outcomes slash outputs of the platform? Like, I think he's asking what the export options are and how, a designer or a motion designer or a graphics designer such as yourself would sort of use those experiences or outputs in your projects or portfolio or wherever. So I think both of y'all can even answer this. Maybe we can start with Vidya on this.
So there are three different ways in which you can export. So first would be your JS package. So that is the first one, and you can export as videos. And the third one would be images. So actually, the use case will be also be very different for three of them, where you can use the exports in specific formats. So if you're creating something which requires web scrolls, or you want people to scroll through it. So that is one definite place where you can use your JS package and you can create videos. And like I was mentioning before, like a lot of e-commerce platforms have 3D AR experiences. So yeah, so those are also actually places where you can use the JS export. Apart from that, like if you're creating an advertisement, social media, video, and things like that. So that is where your video will come in handy. And if you want to add images to your page and so definitely you can export images for that.
Okay, I think we'll have to sort of speed up because we are at 4:42 right now. I'll quickly move on to the next question. Rajshri, I think this is something that you can answer. Did you use any additional tools for refining your outputs or entirely on Creator? I think the question is relevant for the Bumblebee experience, but please also feel free to give a like a more holistic answer for this if you're so inclined.
Yeah, for the Bombay experience, I did not. It was completely in Creator. But there's always the option to refine if you want it to. But for the Creator experience, like for this experience, as you saw, like it did not need any refinement after I exported it. So yeah, that is completely in Creator.
Got it. Okay. So this again, Joshua, to answer, he's done a lot of these on Creator for Bumblebee, and he has like I think we touched upon it a little bit earlier also that the post production last mile editing can be done on a lot of other platforms. We have another question: how Creator can benefit users who use other 2D video editing tools like Premiere Pro, After Effects, and who don't have any background in 3D is what I'm assuming he asked. Again, I think this is a perfect question for Rashri and Vidya, but I think we'll maybe start with Rashri for this one.
Yeah, like I was mentioning sometimes back, like you can actually like you can use it as a part of your pipeline. If you have certain sections in your projects where you want 3D animations, you can make it with a green screen in Creator and export it and refine it maybe later. That can be one example of how you use Creator. Other than that, if you want, you can actually complete the entire animations depending on your need on Creator itself and export it directly for your portfolio or for any client work.
Amazing. We have a couple more questions. Wanted to know, besides Avatar's creator platform, have you panelists used any different AI-powered creative platforms? If yes, how would you compare the experience with regards to Creator? That's one question. And just to round off, I think this might be at the last question that we probably take up for this Q&A session. Any mechanical rigged models from 3D softwares can still be used in Creator for animation. Maybe first question, Vidya, do you want to take up? I know that you've explored a little bit of Firefly and some of the AI inspired tools out there. So maybe it's a question that you can take up right now.
Yeah. So actually, there are a lot of different platforms like right now available. And to name a few, definitely I have used Firefly quite a lot. I actually use it daily in the work that I do. So apart from that, also there are other platforms like Midjourney and other like image-based. There are a lot of image-based ones that I have already explored. 3D ones I have explored, but like compared to the results that I saw, like the 3D outputs were not at par like of what I have seen with Creator. So I think 3D is still evolving. So I think a lot of more tools are there to come. But as of now, 2D images are something that I have explored a lot with AI tools.
Yeah. Anything to add, Rashri, to this?
Yeah. Personally, I've used a couple of AI generative tools with related to 3D. I'm not going to talk about 3D tools right now. So I've used tools which use photogrammetry and art as well. And I've seen the output that we get from Avataar's incarnate app, if you guys have checked it, is amazing. And you can get extremely photorealistic outputs, like almost as good as the actual thing that you're seeing. You can get that, and you can, the special thing is it is integrated with the creator, and you can directly animate that model in creator itself and export it. So that's like an extra benefit of this thing.
Got it. Got it. And maybe I can also pitch in because I might be biased, obviously, but I'll also say that some of the outputs that I've gotten, especially in terms of when I'm talking about the generative AI powered side of Creator, right? It's just the quality is on some fronts it feels like gamified, on some other tools and it feels like comical content, but here it feels like actual you get like a proper output most of the time, right? But AI, I think like Vidya mentioned, is still growing, still evolving. We are fingers crossed moving towards the right direction to get that final experience that we all know that AI is capable of giving us. We have a couple more questions that are coming in. I'll maybe quickly touch. We have 3 more minutes for 4:50 is ideally when I wanted to start the live session. But we'll quickly touch on these questions. What is the basic config for a PC to run the website? I think this is something that maybe Vidya, Rashri, you both have a lot of experience with creators, so you can answer this.
Yeah, I think it can run on pretty much any like any tool which has a good internet connection or a decent internet connection. It's not dependent on the PC that much. I've run it on different kinds of PCs with pretty low configurations as well. Like probably around 10-year-old PCs also I have used it on, and it works pretty fine since it's a web-based tool. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And one more question that we have from Rishi is that have you used different fonts in your you have used, he's not asking, he's saying you have used different fonts in your experience. Are all these fonts available on Creator? What if I wanted a specific font for font type for my experience? So Rashri, Vidya, I think both of you all have done used custom fonts, and there is a trick for this. I am aware of that trick. Would you maybe open up and tell the audience how you tried this for your experiences?
Okay, I'll pick it up. So yeah, these fonts are all available on Creator. It has a huge library of fonts. But other than that, if you want, you can also include images. You can have images with transparent backgrounds where like you can export the text as a transparent background and use that as well. So you're not limited by the fonts that are there. You can use any font.
Okay, Vidya, do you want to maybe add on to this on how you've created your Apple, because Apple ka font I know that you've used. Oh, we've lost Vidya, guys. Okay, I think maybe I can also touch on this. Rashri probably explained it a little bit better, but basically, what Rashri has done or Vidya has done for their experiences is that they've whatever custom font that they wanted, they created that text as a PNG, and they imported that text onto that PNG onto Creator, and then used that part to showcase that that part of their experience. Yes, we can bring back Vidya. I think there was some sort of a network issue. Yeah, I think we are very, very short on time. We are at 4:50, and I would love to move on to the next part or the final part of our experience or the session, which is basically our live demo. So, welcome back, Vidya. We've missed you for the last 2 minutes. Um, yeah. So moving on, we'll just have a quick live demo. But before we have the demo, I'll quickly show you what we are going to create or what experience or what the final output of this experience will be. I know all of you might not be able to do it live. So we'll also be sending this recording of this of this whole session for everyone who's attended, everyone who's been part of this call, so that you can in your own time create this experience and let us know, share it with us, send it on upload it on LinkedIn, tag us, and we'll repost it and show the world that, hey, look what our audience have created with our platform. But before that, I'll quickly show this experience that we'll be trying out today. And it'll be a quick 15-minute, 10 to 15-minute session. I think Rashri will probably take us through the experience really, really easily. Let me know if the screen is visible. I'm assuming it is. Yeah. All right. So yeah, this is the experience that we are going to try and recreate today. I think Rashri will be taking us through both the first and the second folds. This final fold is something that's much more easier. I think everyone on with a little bit of creator experience will be able to build that. I'll maybe reload and show this once more so that it sinks in. And the main ask from everyone on the call would be to, if you are not able to sort of build this experience with us live, maybe write down the questions that you have, so that while Rashri is going through this session, Vidya can look at those questions and answer it in the chat session itself. Rajshri will keep on prompting you for questions. Feel free to ask them in the chat. I'll probably just hand over the session to now both our creator experts, our panelists. Take it away, Rajshri.
I'll just share my screen. Let me know if you're able to see my screen. Mike, can you see?
Yeah, we can all see the screen. Yes.
Okay. Okay, so I'll just create the experience that you guys just saw. I'll try to create the first two parts of it. So what I have over here is an empty canvas. So this is what you get when you first load when you first create a new project, and you have the 3D time like viewport over here and the timeline over here. Uh, and what I'll do is I'll just import the headset model that you saw. So you can go to here and import the object from here. You have a 3D mesh option over here, and you have a huge library of products over here, which you can choose from. The model that you saw is already inbuilt over here. I'll just write the name, I'll just put up, and then you can easily search it. Features headset, you will get the headset. So once you click on it, it loads in the scene, and this is the headset. It's too small. It's going to the side of it. So yeah, this is the model that you have. Now if you want, you can change the lighting on the model as well. So what I want to see different kind of lights here. Uh, so you can go to light settings over here on the right side, and you can choose from any HDRI option. You have a lot of HDRI options over here. You can use an object like this, and you can immediately see the lighting has changed here. You have other options to add other light options also here. If you want, you have options to add from ambient directions for. You can do that if you want. I'll just stick to the HDRI that I have. The first thing that I'll do is I'll create the background that you have here a scene. So what I'll do is I'll add an image. So what I've done is I have created images uh, for the background of the website. So you can create an image like this and this is the background. So you can just select the image. So this is the image. I can just move it back so it does not overlap with the model, and I can just add a keyframe on the timeline. So this is the timeline that you have, and the image that you loaded is over here. It has been added, so I'll add a keyframe on the position so that it's still over there. And I'll also have to scale it up. But first, what I'll do is I'll go to the preview mode of here, the play mode, and once you click on it, you can see how it looks through the camera. So this is the view that you're getting through the camera. Yeah. And what I can do is I can go back to the edit mode and select this image, and I can just scale it up. You can use the shortcuts mentioned here to scale it. I'll just scale it up, something like this. Um, and I'll add a keyframe on the scale so that the scale image. And I'll just move it down a bit. So I'll go ahead of timeline a bit and move it down. So I'll just add a keyframe just to lock in this position. And so this is the final position that I want. I'll delete the initial keyframe and keep the final one. So that you only get this position. Here, just the background over here, we have the model. What I want, I'll have to position the model now so that it fits in perfectly. So I just select the model. I think the model has a keyframe right now. I'll just delete this keyframe, the position because I want to set a new keyframe over here. So I'll go to the editing mode and I'll just move it down. And like this. Let's edit this. And I'll add a keyframe. So now we have the first position of the model, and I want to rotate it also a bit to the side. So what I can do is I can directly click on one of the keyframes. There you have the rotation over here. Click on the keyframe, and I have the option to change the values of here. So I can do that directly also. So I can just maybe change the value to like 60. Yeah, so this is the keyframe that I want. So now I want the model to enter from the left side and come here. So this is the final frame that I want for the model. So what I can do is I can easily move the keyframes ahead on the time. So that I animate it backwards. So I move these keyframes ahead of it, and I'll go back on the timeline and I'll push the object outside the frame. I'll select this model, I'll push it out, and I'll add a keyframe. Then model enters from the left side. Also, if I want to give a little bit of rotation to this model, I can easily add a keyframe over here and add a value. Uh, minus rotation. So this is how easily you can just add the animation over here. Uh, I hope this is clear so far. If you guys have any questions, you can ask me while I'm doing it. So I'll move on. So now what I'll do is I'll add some text to this to make this look like a website over here. I prepared some text over here. I'll just quickly place it. So what I'll do is I'll add the text over here. I'll go to text and add text over here. You see the text has been added over here. The first thing that I want to add is the text for introduction into these things. And I'm going here to the font. It is Roboto. I'll make it go to medium. Change the color to slightly bluish to dark blue. So once you add the text, you find the text get added to the timeline of the field. You have the position or the animation option you find in the field. So I'll give it here. Now, what I want to do is the text over here, I want the text to be behind the object so that the object rotates in front of the text. So I just set the text and move it back this, and I will add it to the string. What I can do is, I think the font is too big right now. I just the font size. What I can also do is maybe to get to the left side. Yeah, something like this should be fine for my publicity here. And what I want to do is I want the product to rotate to the side so that you slowly see this text behind appearing. So I'll go ahead on the timeline and I'll add one more rotation keyframe and I'll give it a little very small rotation. Um, 7. What I'll do is I'll add one more text over here, which will be the text in front. So this text will say the name of the product, so it will know what jeans keep on go, and that is the font size. And I'll make it bold. And make it completely white. I want this in front of the object, so I just select it and make it one. And the content is this. Well, I'm change the font size. Make it this. So yeah, this looks good. I will move it down more. So I want this text to come over here. The final frame that you have when once the text is here. So what I want, I'll again animate backwards so that when the product is coming, these texts also appear into the scene. So I'll go back on the timeline and now I'll animate this text as well. I'll go to the edit mode. I'll change the background for a little bit so that I can see the text. So what I want to do is I want to move this text a bit to the side and add a keyframe over here. At the same time, I want to select this one, maybe the other side. And now you have this animation that this text comes like this, along with the bird. And I think you have opacity to this as well. So you have the opacity option also here. So I want it to be invisible at the start, and then as it comes to the screen, so I'll add the keyframe opacity and reduce it to 0. word of time bit to move it here and add it to the game. It's now that is. So the last thing that will be left for this first part is to add the description of the product from over here. So we'll quickly add that as well. We'll add another text block in the description. Your gateway to smart experience and change the font. Slightly dark. This text also I'll move that. So this text won't be moving, it will just there will just be an opacity change. So it doesn't need some animation. I'll just position it properly the way I want to. What I do is I'll add a position one position and I'll change the scale of it. Yeah, something like this. And position it also something like this. And add one just to find station and I'll delete the previous one. This is the final station. Let's save it here. And I'll add a body copy to this as well. I'll add one more text block and I'll add the body copy for this product. The font color over here, and I'll try to copy the same font over here. Font color. Here, this is slightly more lengthy. And I'll make the font lighter for so what I'll do, I'll just check the Z value on this and I'll keep the same Z value for this as well. And the font size, the same that is 4 and this is also 4. Maybe make it a little more small because of the text. Yeah. I think do that. So we have the final position of this as well, and I'll just add opacity to this. And keep it opacity for both of these. So that make it smooth. So we have the first part of the animation done. I hope everyone will follow so far. Let me know if there is any question to this.
Yeah, Rashri, I think there were a couple of questions, but Vidya and like some folks from our team have also, sort of answered them.
Okay.
I don't know if we have a lot of time left for the next
Okay.
vote, Rashri. I think
Okay.
this, maybe just to summarize on what I just witnessed, it was very surprising for me as to how quickly you were able to do this. Like you did it the first fold with these 3 layers or 4 layers of text. You were able to do it and finish it in under 15 to 10 to 15 minutes, right?
Yeah.
Maybe let's end with this part. I
Cool.
think everyone on the call also has a lot of good visibility on what is possible through Creator. Rashmi, you can go ahead and end your screen
Yeah.
share. Um,
Yeah. Before I end, I'll just like to highlight one thing. So this is a 3D medium. So you can play around with the space over here. You can add the main trick I think is to add layers in positions that you want. So what adds a little more depth over here is the fact that you have text in front of the object as well as behind. So that gives the spatial depth also in here, which makes it look more interesting. So you can play around with that and that will be so really interesting results. Yeah. So I think I'll just end
yes.
my speech with that. Thank you so much.
Amazing. More and more ninja techniques we have just gotten out of Rajshri. I think everyone here on the call, we have had the opportunity to sort of look at how this, how a creator expert sort of creates these amazing experiences on our platform, right? Um, I think the next step for us to, yeah. Oh, my video is off. Okay. Hi. I'm so sorry. I think the next step for us to do is to maybe just go back and start creating or start exploring creator like how Rajshri and Vidya were able to do. Uh, wait, I lost my viewport. Yeah, just 1 second. Yeah, before we close off, I just want to leave everyone with a couple of things. I'm sure everyone on this call is aware of Creator Challenge 2. These are our Creator Challenge 1, a part of our Creator Challenge 1 winners. I think they have helped us a lot with this session. They've sort of given us their perspective on Creator. They have shared a couple of tips. They have not exposed whole lot of them, but they have shown us just enough to keep us interested. And for that, thank you so much, Vidya. Thank you so much, Rajshri. You guys have done or answered our questions really, really, really well. We'll have more of these sessions. We'll have more of these webinars. So everyone present, please feel free to join. We'll be sending out those notifications in some time. We'll also be sharing a recording of this entire session for the forum. So if you are not able to do or work with Rajshri live on the experience, feel free to just create those experiences offline later in your own time. Create those experiences, send it on or share it on LinkedIn, tag Avataar. We'll be very, very happy. And to sort of repost and show our love also. And finally, you have those tricks, you have those techniques. Now it's time for you to start creating for Creator Challenge 2. Maybe to reiterate, the deadline is now 23rd of November. It's one more week from now. You have a weekend that's coming up to create those. Go through the video. I will make sure that you get the video before the weekend so that you have enough time to look at them and look at the experience, look at Rajshri working, and probably get some amazing experiences submitted for Creator Challenge 2. Before I leave, I would maybe want to share the Creator Challenge link here for everyone who is unaware. So just take a quick look at your chat bar, and you'll probably see the Creator Challenge website linked there. So feel free to check it out. Start creating. We have some amazing prizes also for the winners. And I think that's it. I think we are out of time also. We went a little bit about time, 15 minutes. Rashri and Vidya, anything that you want to convey to the audience before we close off and close the session?
Yeah, I'll just say try anything. Like there are so many options out there. You can just go crazy with it. Uh, just explore, be creative, use images and 3D models, choose interesting 3D models, and develop the concept really well. So that will help you with the process. Plan it out. Use the depth, that spatial depth that you have in a 3D platform to create interesting outputs.
Yeah. Amazing. Vidya, anything from you?
I think Rajshri covered it well. So yeah, I'm looking forward to see a lot of creative outputs from people on LinkedIn. I'll be watching. So yeah.
Amazing. Thank you so much, guys. I think it's about time that we end this call. Keep a lookout for more webinars and activities from our side to keep you engaged with Creator. But that's all. Thank you so much.